Good morning, everyone. My name is Emil Franz P. Rivera, and today we will talk about growing up in poverty. So, what does it feel like since we were born and grew up in a life of poverty? Are there any effects when we are living in poverty? Are there any differences too between rich and poor people? What causes poverty? How can we prevent and set aside the negative belief that grew up in poverty? Is a life full of miseries. Other people are putting blame why they came from a poor ancestry. Life is basically a struggle and confronted with being victims of being misplaced, maltreated, and being underdog. Poverty. How is it measured? First, let us talk what poverty is. Poverty is a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essential for a minimum standard of living. Poverty means that the income level from employment is so low that basic human can't be met. So poverty. It feels like we have our own burden, not just inside but outside of our life. Like an author once said, being poor isn't the same as being broke. Broke is temporary. Poverty becomes who you are. It's just like looking at an image that is so blurred. It feels like you can see a luxury but you can never touch it. It's like a can of sardines that is so tight that we cannot move. When it comes to effects, there are lots of it. They become jobless, homeless, no luxury, lack of opportunities, and lack of hope. That causes the parents to not have the capacity to enroll their children in school and force them to work with an early age. It also causes to commit crime just to survive in their everyday life. Children woke up in real life with an early age. They always see people fighting that can be adapted by them. But it has also positive side. They know how to spend money wisely and they have to strive to overcome poverty. The advantage is when they become successful, they know what is the feeling of having a hard and struggle life, not like people who were born rich. When it comes to differences between rich and poor people, it's just simple, the way of their living. Rich people can easily buy what they need and buy what they want. But poor people is having a hard time to buy on what they need and nothing left to buy what they want. What causes poverty? It's not having unity and being selfless. Like they're putting barriers in every individual or family, mountains in every city, and seas in every country. Their mindset is like this. Why we should help them to be successful if we need to help ourselves first, even though they are rich already or superior? Yes, we don't blame them, but how can a person who came from poverty will be successful if we don't have the trust or the unity? So how can we prevent poverty? It's simple. Strive for more. Put it as a challenge. There are lots of people who grew up in poverty, but at the end, they become rich. They call them as the from rags to riches. One example is Henry C. C struggled hard living in a foreign country as an immigrant and had to learn the local language. Determined to become successful, he worked hard day and night to provide for his needs. C started out with a small sari-sari store business that helped them in their day-to-day life. C and his father live in a small space until the fruits of their labor made them successful in the following years. However, when the Philippine economy collapsed in World War II, their store burned down that forced his father to go back to China. Henry C. stayed in the Philippines and built his own shoe business in Marikina. C did not have an overnight success. He enrolled himself to school and was able to graduate college with a degree in commerce from Far Eastern University. C also changed legal names, sold rejected and overrun shoes, plus many other setbacks that he had to face early in life. He did not give up and pushed through, maybe because he knew that something big, which is he has now, is about to come. After a series of failures in his business, Henry C. stood back up and persevered to attain his goal. He established a small shoe store in Quiapo, Manila in 1958 named Shoe Mart that eventually marked the establishment of SM Prime Holdings. Now, with three of the most valuable companies in the Philippines, SM Investments Corp and SM Prime Holdings Incorporated, valued at over 1 trillion each, and BDO Unibank, valued at 635 million, he has become the richest man in the country for 11 consecutive years since 2005 and ranked 52 in Forbes World Billionaires list of 2018. Look how far he did go. It's just the courage that he had. We don't measure poverty on what is the present life. We measure poverty on how can we cope it. We did just said that if we born in this kind of life, we will die on it. It is a big no. Live our life to the fullest. Live it with our own and move all the people who don't believe us. Again, I'm Emil Franz P. Rivera. Thank you for watching.